Because to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that is what 5 WWF superstars will be hoping to do very soon. Jack Tunney will tell us, next week I think it is, who the number one contender to Ric Flair's title is. Because he won that title, remember, at the Royal Rumble in 1992. It's my favourite Royal Rumble, came in third, ended up winning the whole thing, won the title. Woo! Bloody, that's not so good, is it? Got a bit of a bad throat. And this is Superstars of Wrestling from January, 25th of January, 1992. It is Mr. Perfect with, now that's perfect, with Vince McMahon. Actually, Mr. Perfect's colour commentary is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. They did use him for a while in this, while his back was bad, I think. Doing a pointer to my back, you see. They used him in that kind of way for a while. Not very good in general. However, it feeds into the Ric Flair stuff because he is Ric Flair's mentor? No, business manager? Where's Bobby Heenan anyway? He was the one who was really pushing for Flair. And he was certainly so good on the Royal Rumble. You know, be fair to Flair and all that kind of stuff. Great. But I can't see him. Can't see him on this episode. Bit weird. They show Flair quite a lot. Don't think Heenan's there unless I missed him. I could go back and have a look, but I can't be bothered. So anyway, it's pretty good really, considering they're going to have the 5 number one contenders do their little bit to persuade Tunney. No one says, there you go, there's a nice crisp note for you. No one says that. Of course they don't. They try to persuade him in different ways. He's not there or anything. It's not like Hulk Hogan doing a lap dance or anything like that. That would be terrible. Nothing like that. Or Sid Justice trying to beat him in a skiffle ball game or anything like that. They're 2 of the people who are being considered. Two. Not one, 2. So we start, though, with the new foundation, who opened up the Royal. And it's Owen Hart, the Rocket, and Jim Neidhart, the Forgotten. Because, of course, Bret Hart has left Jim the Anvil Neidhart from the Hart Foundation, because Bret was the Intercontinental Champion. He won it at SummerSlam in 91, and now no longer holds it. More of that in a minute. However, they are facing, I don't know, they're never mentioned. They look like brothers. There's an Owen somersault. He does most of the work here, to be honest. A somersault into a suplex, which is lovely. 2 suplexes, in fact. By the way, you can buy a Hulk Hogan flashlight, if you like. I bet there is an enormous warehouse somewhere in Idaho where there's about 40,000 of those suckers. I'll tell you that. Anyway, he's run into a Neidhart boot. Beverly's a picture-in-picture because they've got a feud coming up with the new foundation. That just shows you're not really at the top of the tag team tree if you're feuding with the Beverleys. There's an Owen missile dropkick, which is absolutely lovely. Perfect says, haven't seen that for a while. I bet you've not seen it before, mate. Anyway, Owen gets the dropkick. And then tags in Neidhart, who he's really prosaic. Forearms. And then, of course, Owen gets to the top and he throws him off for the splash. It's the rocket launcher for the pin. And we've got Rumble Report with Mean Gene, brought to you by the WWF merchandise catalogue. Ooh, woo! That's better. Got it back. And there's new Macho merch. Macho merch. Merch for Macho. Macho merch. Merch. And you can buy that if you like. It's too late now because it's 2025. And I really wish I could go back in time so I can avoid that all over again. Right, Flair will defend at WrestleMania. Well, he is the champion, so you'd expect that, wouldn't you? But who against? Apparently, Flair, I love this. He says it several times on promos, at the greatest thing going today. It's just, doesn't sound like Flair, does it? But there you go. It's great. Right. By the way, the World Bodybuilding Federation mag is available if you'd like to buy it. I don't think that many people did. I could be wrong, but I don't think they did. Right, Natural Disasters. They're going to face Sergeant Slaughter, who's now turned face, and Jim Duggan. Do you remember he did that I want my country back? There was that odd scene, couldn't do this now, folks, where he was at an elementary school. There were loads of kids with him and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, all of that. Anyway, he's now turned face. He wants his country back. He's got his country back, and he's with Duggan, who is a big USA. He doesn't do that, but there you go. Now, Jack Owens is facing Bret Hart. Apparently, and I remember this at the time, he had a temperature of 104. Still, don't know why he did this. It's foolish, really. Still went out to defend the title, and the Mountie beat him. And then, stupid, isn't it? Could have said, I need to cry off. Can you not put Jack Owens in for me? And Jack Owens is a more seasoned individual than Bret, to be honest. Anyway, at the Royal Rumble, Roddy Piper beat the Mountie. Remember that? He beat him with a sleeper. I think he did. And he's the champion. I don't think he's champion for that long, but there you go. Anyway, we've got some Bret Hart stomps, a shot to him, a nice backbreaker, an elbow off the top, and then the sharpshooter and the win. And Hogan and Piper are going to fight. Who are they going to fight? Flair and The Undertaker. Yeah, Hogan plays second fiddle in this. He starts out and Piper's given the last word. It's interesting, isn't it? That he's not got a belt, you see, Hogan, so not as powerful, maybe. Who am I fooling? Right, DiBiase, Ted, with Sherry, is facing D.D. Russell. They don't half take the mickey out of D.D. because he's not very well muscled or anything like that. Russell doesn't have the muscle, see. Ted's got his $1 million belt back, and just to show how happy he is, in the middle of this match, he will smooch with Sherry. Yeah. Ted gets a clothesline. It's not great. Power Slam is great, though. $1 Million Dream. It's all over fairly quickly. And then Gene interviews the 5 contenders. So Hogan isn't unhappy. He's not going to cry about losing the belt. You know, when he had that altercation with Sid Justice at the Royal Rumble. There were no friends in the Royal Rumble, fella, unless I want to be a friend with someone. That's the kind of way it seems. So he might as well make his case. He's the best champ there ever was and there ever will be. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. He wants to get the title back round our waist. Ooh, you're not sharing it with someone, are you? It's not your bolder brother, is it? It's not Brutus, Brother Bruti. You're not both going to wear the belt, are you? That's going to be they're going to have to take it out a bit, aren't they? Anyway, next we've got The Undertaker. Paul Bearer reminds us, that he wasn't beaten for the title. He did beat Hogan for the title, and then, of course, it's been cruelly wrested from him, if I remember rightly. Roddy butters up Jack Tunney. Not literally, that would be horrible. And then begs for a chance. Macho says, don't forget me. I want to go back to where I once was. Sounds a bit sad, really. And then Sid Justice is very intense, saying that Flair was lucky to win at the Rumble. He wasn't, though, was he? He was just really, really good. Unlike you, mate, who got a very late call. Something like, I think it was the late 20s, and you didn't last, did you? Anyway, Repo Man is facing Kevin Catlick, I think. Catlick? Which was something like I've got. Cat in my hair. Catlick. Anyway, Repo Man's doing his stuff. He's not a big success yet. He will be a much bigger success to come. He hits him with a big shot, throws him over the top, comes up behind him, creeps up, you know. Soon we're going to have Virgil versus Repo Man. Can't wait for that. And there's a leg grapevine. It's weird, for the win. Then he wraps his rope around Catleck's neck and drags him around the ring, which, as Perfect says, is one of the best things he's seen for ages. Introducing Chris Chavis. He'll be here next week, and he will be revealing his Native American name. We all know what that is, don't we? Yes. And that'll lead to, of course, it'll lead to Bobby Heenan doing the hi, how are you joke. But here, he's with a shaman, not the Shaman, they were a dance band in the 90s. And he's got a big fire there, and it's all in the dark, and he's going through a ritual and all that kind of stuff. Kind of thing that Eddie Thorpe's done recently in NXT. Not like they're recycling ideas or anything. So anyway, Mike Casey is facing Sid Justice. This will be your last wrestling of the hour. Big Justice choke, Big Justice boot, throws him over the top rope from the floor. That's really strong, isn't it? Aeroplane spin type, and then just lets go of him. So dumps him on the floor, powerbomb, pin. Marvellous. He could be one of the 5. He could be one of the 5. I won't tell you who it is. I know who he fought, who Flair fought at WrestleMania 8. It's a terrible WrestleMania. Shocking. But, yeah. There you go. It could be Sid Justice. Couldn't it? This wasn't great. It was... but it had an impetus because they had something to sell, didn't they? And with Roddy being a champion, and with Flair being a champion, things are in a bit of flux, aren't they? So people don't quite know what to think. And that kind of thing is the sort of thing that WWF quite excels at. I'm looking forward to next week. Even though it is rubbish. Ta-ta.